Hey guys, it's Silo Beta. This is episode 6 of the series Let's Make a Game 2.5D platformer. In this video, you'll learn how to create a pause menu using Unity's UI system and C# scripting. Let's get started. Since we'll be editing the UI, we're going to want to prefab it and fix it up between scenes. Go to your blank level and click on the canvas object. To help remind us what it is, let's rename it UI. Then, drag it into the prefabs folder so it can be saved as a prefab. Oftentimes in a project, you might forget to prefab an object that's in multiple scenes. That's okay, and that's exactly what we did here. So, we just have to learn to catch it sooner than later. Go into level 1 and delete the canvas. Then, drag in the UI prefab into the scene hierarchy, and now we should have the prefab version instead of a standalone version. Then, go to the player, and in the player move script, drag the entire UI object into the score slot, and drag the level complete part into the level complete slot. Do the same for level 2. Delete the canvas, and drag in the prefab. Go to the player and set the score variable, and the level complete variable. If you've made more levels than this, repeat the same steps for each one. It's an annoying process, but it's better to catch it sooner than later if you plan on making a larger project. Now we're going to edit the UI prefab directly. Double click it, and it'll open the full prefab editor. Then, in the hierarchy dropdown, right click on level complete and duplicate it. Name the new one Pause. Now, it'll be a little annoying to edit if both the level complete and pause button are on top of each other. So let's temporarily disable the level complete by clicking on it and going to the inspector and unchecking the box. We'll recheck it later so it'll show up in-game. Now, we'll set up the pause menu visually. Click on pause and change the text to game paused or something like that. Edit the text and button to your liking. I wanted the level select button to be there so that the player doesn't have to beat the entire level all over again if they want to go back and try a different one. Once you're done, let's move on to the scripting. Hey, please subscribe if you're finding this helpful. I really appreciate the support. Open the UI script. Declare some new variables for the pause functionality to work. Public GameObject pause menu and bool paused. The first one will be a direct reference to the pause menu itself, and the second one will be a true or false variable telling us whether the game is paused or not. In start, let's tell the pause menu to not show up in the beginning. So pause menu.setActive false. And now put paused equals false, so that the game won't start off paused. Before we go further, how are we going to pause the menu? I like pausing it with a keyboard button like P or Escape, so let's go do that. Go back to Unity and go to Edit, Project Settings, Input Manager. Right-click Fire1 and duplicate it. It's already set up for a one-push button. And name the duplicate Pause. In the positive button, put P, and in the alternate positive button, put Escape. Now we have it set up in the Input Manager, so we can code it back in the UI script. Now inside Update, let's check whether or not the pause button has been pressed. Create an if statement. If input.getButtonDown pause, then paused equals not paused. The exclamation point means not, so basically we'll just invert paused. If it's true, then it'll be false. If it's false, it'll be true. Next, let's make sure the pause menu is shown when paused and isn't when not paused. Pause menu.setActive paused. Save and build. Go back to Unity and double-click the UI prefab. Enable the level complete button again, and in the UI script, drag the entire pause object into the pause menu slot. Now when we test it, the pause menu shows up when we press P or Escape. However, it doesn't actually pause yet. To do that, we'll need to mess with time. Back in the script, let's make another if statement. If paused, then Time.timeScale equals 0. This will completely freeze time within the game. So physics will stop and events will stop. This is the easiest way to pause in a game, but it has its cons as well. It can stop animations, and some things reliant on time may break. But in our project, it'll do just fine. Below the if statement, put else and set Time.timeScale equals 1 to reset back to normal when we unpause. Time.timeScale can do a lot more than just pause. It can be used for matrix-like effects. One great example of using the timescale in a Unity game is Superhot, in which time only goes when the player moves, otherwise it stands still. Something similar was used for Link's arrow time in Breath of the Wild. It's a fun thing to mess around with, and a lot of cool game ideas can come with it. Anyways, back to the game. Save and build, and let's test. Now, the game actually pauses when the P or escape key is pressed, and unpauses when P or escape key is pressed again. In addition, you can pause in the middle of a level and go to level select whenever you want. One last thing for the UI prefab. The level select button doesn't actually work yet, and huge apologies from me if this problem has been bothering anyone before. I didn't catch it and I'm sorry. Double-click the prefab, drag on the menu script for level select functionality, and click on the button for the pause menu in the hierarchy. Scroll down to On Click and drag in the UI. Then, click on the drop-down menu, go to Menu, and click Load Level. Put Level Select the exact same way you put it for the level in the text box. Repeat for the Level Complete Level Select button as well. Click on it and scroll down to On Click. Drag in the UI. Click the drop-down menu, Menu, Load Level, Level Select. Nice job! Continue this project with the next and last video of the series where we'll be looking at debugging. And remember guys, life's a game. Have fun with it.